Hey everyone, today I am really excited to share with you my top 10 functional planning supplies for 2025. When I was trying to come up with this list, I had to think about what I think is essential for me to plan in my planner. It's not about the decor, it's about actual functional planning. The first item are these little sticky notes. And the reason why this is on my list is because these are the sticky notes that I use to plan out all of my YouTube videos and if I'm going to post something on Instagram, any sort of social media content. The reason why I like these as opposed to other brands of sticky notes is that they stick well to the page, they don't fall off. They also are small enough to fit into the monthly calendar boxes. And that was kind of always my complaint about Post-it notes. Although they stick well, they're not necessarily small enough to fit into the monthly calendar boxes in the Happy Planner. So just as an example, I'll show you here how well they fit into the box. But then I also have space to write down what's going on that day if I have an event or an appointment. Whereas the sticky notes I was trying to use before, you could not fit anything else in the box. And also I appreciate the flexibility of this because with video schedules or social media posts, things change, life happens. So sometimes they have to get rescheduled, and it's putting them on sticky notes so I know which days to film, which days to edit, which days to post. It's really helpful that they're on something that can be easily moved throughout my planner. And whether or not you have social media posts, you can still use sticky notes for other things going on in your life. The next item is the check it off stencil. So this actually comes with the check boxes, and then also a separate stencil comes with the circles, and it just fits right into your planner. I love that it has a straight edge so that I can draw in headers, I can draw boxes in my planner to draw attention to important events. And I also love that I can use this to very quickly create to-do lists in my planner. So I use this in my work planner, which I keep at work, and I also have one that I keep at home for my home planner. I also really like these Zig Clean color dots, and the reason why is because they make creating a to-do list really easy because you don't have to draw in checklists manually. You just use this to create the check boxes very quickly, and they come in several different colors. So I think that this is a great tool if you want to save time and you're trying to create a checklist. I use these daily sheets inserts for busy days where I can't fit all of my tasks in my weekly spread in my Happy Planner. And that's actually very common for me where it's just not enough space. So on Saturday and Sunday, I usually have a daily sheet dedicated to each of those days every single weekend. And in the left column, I write down my appointments and events, any sort of scheduled tasks. If I'm posting a video that day, I schedule in the time that I'm going to be posting. And then on the right side, I write down my to-do list. And I just really like this because it kind of helps me to focus in on that day. Whereas sometimes when I have a really busy week and I'm using my weekly spread in my Happy Planner, it gets a little overwhelming if there's like so much writing on the page. Putting it all onto one page just helps me to focus better so that I can get done what I need to get done that day. I also really love correction tape. I use Bic whiteout correction tape. I know that there's liquid whiteout, but I found that I like this one better because I don't have to worry about it drying, especially if I'm like flipping through my planner to different pages and needing to white things out. And of course, like life happens, things get rescheduled. Maybe you make a mistake in your planner, maybe you change your mind about how you wanted to plan something. So I always say that my whiteout correction tape comes in really handy. So this next one is literally called Planner Essentials extension pack. And the reason why I consider it to be an essential is because it comes with a bunch of pages that I use either as a reference or a capture tool or as a to-do list for planning on a daily or weekly basis. So the first page we have is where I keep my morning and evening routines, and I'm gonna link the video where I set up my planner for this year and I use this extension pack in that video. So if you want to see like an example of how I set it up, you can go there and watch that video. We have weekly schedule. So this is more like a reference of what a perfect week would look like, the routines that I want to be following, and maybe if I have a repeating appointment or event, I keep it here so that I don't have to keep writing that in my planner. You just use the weekly schedule as a reference. I also like to keep track of birthdays based on the month so that I know what's coming up. And then I capture gift ideas on this page. There's home maintenance calendar, home maintenance tasks broken down by season. So some of these are reference pages that I then schedule into my planner. The someday maybe list and the next year list, I would say, are one of my two favorite pages because they act as capture tools for appointments that are coming up in the next year. So let's say I'm at the dentist and I find out that I have an appointment in 6 months. I write it down on my next year list. And then that way I know once I set up my planner for next year, I know what appointments and events I need to schedule in. The someday maybe list is where I capture tasks that I don't have time for right now, but someday maybe if I have time in the future, then I would like to work on them. And so maybe you have tasks on your to-do list right now that you keep transferring week to week, but you just never get around to them because they honestly are lower priority tasks. That would be something that I personally would move onto my someday maybe list, so I'm not wasting time rewriting those tasks. If I do have time to work on it, then I just reference the someday maybe list. And then I also have monthly lists. So there's one list per month of the year, January all the way to December. I can plan ahead for future months and add in tasks that I need to get done in those months, but also keep kind of like a running log of the tasks I need to get done during that specific month on this page. It's just more organized for me to do it this way. My favorite planner pen for many years now has been the Papermate Inkjoy pen. You see me using this in pretty much every single video on my channel. And the reason why I absolutely love this pen is because it creates a smooth, consistent line and it's easy to read. It doesn't skip, it doesn't ghost, and it doesn't bleed through happy planner pages. And I also appreciate that it doesn't have a lot of issues with drying out. So that's why this has been my go-to pen for many years now. I also have doc grid pages on my top 10 planning essentials, and that's because they're so versatile. You can use these to make pretty much any sort of insert that you need based upon what your needs are in that moment. So I've showed so many different examples on this channel of using doc grid to create inserts. So I'll link some examples of that in the description below if you want to check that out. You will probably not be surprised that mild liner highlighters are on my list as well. And the reason why is because I consistently have been using these for many years, and I love that it's more of a muted color as opposed to some of the other highlighters that are available. It has two sides, so if you need to draw a thin line versus just like a standard highlighter tip. And I use this in my home planner and my work planner. In my work planner, I use it to kind of color code the different types of meetings that I attend throughout the week. And then in my home planner, often I'll use it to kind of draw attention to maybe like an appointment or an important event that I want to make sure that I do not forget about. And I also have functional stickers on my list. And the reason for that is because there are some weeks where so much is going on that sometimes it can be really helpful to use a sticker to help certain things really stand out to you, either to help you to understand that it is a priority that it needs to get done so that you don't forget about it, or maybe it's like an important event, an important appointment. Then I like to use these stickers. Also, they work really well for headers, and that saves time to use stickers as opposed to creating your own headers. So sometimes what I'll do is I'll combine them with like chores maybe, or just like the general functional planner icons based upon what I need to get done that day. I use them to create lists in my sidebar. It's just really dependent upon what I need to get done that week. It's very versatile and it saves me time. Those are my top 10 functional planning supplies for 2025. I hope that you found this video helpful, that it gave you some ideas for supplies that you might want to look into for using in your planner to make it more functional and to save you time. If you want to see more functional planning videos, check out this video next, and I'll see you next Saturday. Bye!